Hi, I'm Noelle Hyman from paperclipping.com. We're back again at the EK Success booth. You guys just keep pulling me back. I keep coming back every single day. And we've discovered something new and awesome here. And I've got Carla to show us what it is.
Right. This is Martha Stewart Crafts, Crafter's Clay. It's a brand new product coming out in the spring. And it is basically, it's a lightweight molding compound. It feels really soft in your hands when you're molding with it, and it dries to a very lightweight finish. I'm just going to pull this daisy here. It's so lightweight. We have a scrapbook page here that has quite a few clay embellishments on it, and it's still just really lightweight.
Wow.
It's also very sturdy. We've had a lot of people ask, you know, can I put this in my scrapbook? Will it mash down? It does not. This is a rose that we made with it, and you can see how hard I can hit these delicate looking petals.
That's
and
amazing.
It's still really sturdy. So you can buy the clay either separately or in a kit, as well as the molds separately or in one of our starter kits. The clay is available in the primary colors, brown and white, and from there you mix all your own colors. So that means you can custom make your own dimensional embellishments for your paper crafts, and you can make whatever color you want to match your project. We have a color mixing chart that shows you how to mix the Martha signature colors, which is a good starting point, but obviously only scratches the surface of the colors that you can make. The starter kit includes everything that you need to get started. It includes all the clay colors, the white, 4 molds, 2 tools, and floral tape and floral wire. It also includes the instructions on how to make these beautiful lifelike looking roses. And it includes the color chart. And we actually have 2 starter kits. One teaches you how to make roses, and the other teaches you how to make the hydrangea.
A hydrangea, oh my gosh.
Yes, and we have some behind me over here. You can take a look at that in a few minutes.
All right, so you're going to show us how you can mix these colors, because I cannot believe the colors you can get out of those basics.
Exactly. So you have your white, you have your colors, and a little bit of this color goes a really long way. So I can take just like a tiny pinch of this red, and I'm going to add a little bit more white even. And to mix the colors, you kind of pretend like you're pulling taffy. You kind of pull it apart and mash it back together again.
So this is not your ordinary clay at all?
No, and it's very soft in your hands. A lot of people have been saying that it feels like silly putty. A lot of people say this is like Play-Doh for grown-ups. It's really fun, and just the possibilities for mixing your colors are pretty endless. I might even add a little bit of yellow to this.
Yeah. Well, and you were telling me earlier you can mix glitter into it or add glitter to the top after you've shaped them?
Absolutely, and after it's dry you can paint it, you can ink it. We have an example where we've used markers on it. So anything that you might think about doing with paper, you can do with the dried pieces from the crafter's clay. And as I'm mixing, you can almost see a kind of a marbleized effect taking place, and that's fun to use right into the mold also, or you can just kind of keep going until your color is thoroughly blended.
It looks so fun.
It is fun. It is fun, and we've had people try this this kit out, and they just love the color blending. It's kind of one of the really fun parts of this. So I blended my colors and I rolled it into a ball. And now to put your clay into the mold, you want to make sure that you have a nice smooth surface on the clay. If you have any cracks in the clay, you don't want to press that into your surface, because then it'll transfer to your final piece. So I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit, and then I'm going to press it into my mold. And now I'm smoothing it out to make sure I've got all the edges covered. If you have a lot of clay and it covers the edge of the mold shape, just use either your fingers or one of the tools, kind of scrape away the excess. We find that working kind of from the inside outward gives us a nice even coverage, and a nice flat back if you wanted to adhere this to, say, a card or a scrapbook page. And then I like to go back and make sure I've got my edges nice and crisp by running my finger from the outside inward. And I can kind of see and feel the edge of that shape. And then from there I'm just going to bend back the silicone mold. And there's my flower.
Oh wow, that's really nice.
And that was super simple. Now from here, there are other things you can do too. You can add multiple colors within the mold. So I'm looking for one of our examples here. This is a different flower. And here you can see we added a darker pink in the middle of the mold, and then a lighter pink on the outside. Here's that daisy I just did in different colors where we did brown in the middle.
So would you just kind of set it in there and then add the rest?
Exactly, and with this particular mold, it takes a very tiny amount in the middle, maybe a little bit more than that, but a smaller amount in the center. You just want to make sure that it doesn't rise up over the edge of that part of the shape, because if you had too much there and you pressed your second color on top, then it would kind of mash out, and you don't want to have that. So
right.
One or two tries will give you the experience to figure out just how much you need there.
And can we see a couple of how you have this awesome technique?
The rose petals. Yes, this is so much fun. And again, the instructions for doing these rose petals are in the starter kit. And actually right now I'm going to cover my clay back up. This is one thing that's really important when you're working with the crafter's clay, is you want to keep it nice and moist when you're working with it. So keep it on a damp paper towel, cover it with another damp paper towel, and when you're storing your excess, you just want to keep it in an airtight bag with a damp paper towel, and it keeps for many weeks that way.
Awesome.
So let's show you the technique for making the roses. You're going to make as many balls of clay as you want to have petals on your rose, and I'm just going to do a couple here. This one's going to be really small. Take the ball in the palm of your hand, and then you want to use kind of the fleshy part of the base of your thumb. Put the ball there, and with your thumb, take it and press, and you kind of swipe it across your palm, and you stop somewhere before the edge of your hand. And again, this is a technique that takes a little bit of practice. I'm still learning it myself. And then pull the center downward, and you peel that up. That got really thin there. And then that petal takes on some of the texture of your hand, which actually looks more like the lifelike vein of a rose petal. And then just roll that thing up. You kind of bend it back, and there is the beginning of your rose. And then you would actually make all of your petals first.
And you're making them the same way no matter whether they're on the inside or the outside?
Right. The only difference is on the first petal, when you roll it, you have the veined part on the outside, and then after that, you take your veins, the textured side goes in. So press it towards the top, wrap each side, and you can see how it sticks to itself. And again, I'm kind of pressed the edge of that petal a little too much, but some roses do have that kind of torn look around the edge.
Well, and then as you add more and more petals.
And wrapping, exactly. So this is one I did yesterday. This is one that another of our crafters did a couple of days ago. And this is one done by a real expert. So this is a technique that does take a little bit of practice, but it's really, really fun. And
so amazing.
Yeah. Even when you're just starting out, it's amazing how easy it is to get started.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you so much, Carla. All right, we're going to head over and take a look at some of the other stuff.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Carla. All right, let's take a look at some of the molds and how the packaging comes if you're going to look for this in the store. These are your different molds here, the great little bird mold, and there are so many of these that I can see on scrapbooking projects and mini books. I can imagine using a lot of these, the roses, for example, for parties especially. So those are some of the starter kits, and here are some of the molds you can then get. Alphabet mold. I love the butterfly mold. There's a fern, and then here are the clays. Amazing that you can get all those colors from just these basic ones with clay. I knew you could do that with paint, but never would have thought that with clay. I want to look over here because we've got some really beautifully done molds that are finished. Some of them have a little glitter. They're just so stunning. They're absolutely stunning, from the bird to the frame with that tiny little butterfly to this, I don't know what that's called. It reminds me of a sun type image. And then these stars. There's the ferns. Look how much more intricate this project is with the bird and the branches there, with the flowers and the leaves right down there. And then you can see the letters. They're great looking. I'm so excited to use those. I love this branch with these blossoms. My favorite, of course, is the butterflies there with that glitter on the top. It looks so stunning. And here's another one with glitter, these cupcakes down below. How cute is that? And so of course now we have to look at the glitter. These bottles that we're looking at now are the Iridescent Glitter line. They've got all kinds of different glitter, from really fine glitter to chunky glitter to tinsel glitter, which is apparently the new thing because I'm seeing it a lot. And I cannot believe these colors. They're so beautiful. I'm loving this one, but they're all just so gorgeous. And here's an idea of how beautiful their glitters are, this project here where they've faded this pink into this kind of softer orange and then into this yellow. It's so stunning. Here's a project with some of their tinsel glitter in that blue, and they've got their different glitters mixed up together, but you can hopefully you can see that tinsel. And then here's one other project where they've mixed two colors together, this pink and this white. So it's also very beautiful and so much fun. Again, this is all from Martha Stewart's Craft. I'm Noelle Hyman from paperclipping.com.